Hi, today I'm going to make a chocolate layered cake, and it's out of the book Plant Strong by Rip Esselstyn, and the name of the cake is called ADONIS. We're also going to make the frosting. It's a layered cake, so we've got 2 layers with frosting in between and all around. And this is a great recipe because it is low fat, so there's no oil in this recipe at all. We're going to be using applesauce instead of oil. And it's going to have healthier ingredients than a traditional cake with dairy, butter, and eggs. So let's get started. Here are the ingredients you'll need to make the cake. You'll need a cake stand, a 9-inch diameter cake pan, whole wheat flour, unsweetened cocoa powder, baking soda, maple syrup, unsweetened applesauce, white vinegar, cold water, vanilla, and for the frosting, you'll need more vanilla, silken tofu, and dairy-free semi-sweet chocolate chips. I'm going to double this recipe because we're making 2 layers. So in the description, I will list the measurements that I used for the recipe. The first thing you're going to do is get your silken tofu, and 1 hour before you start, you want to squeeze out all the water. So you're going to wrap it in a towel and let it sit for 1 hour so all the water can be absorbed. Now I've already done that and it's ready to go. You also want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. So first you're going to add your flour, and I have it all measured out here. So it's 1.5 cups whole wheat flour, but I'm doubling it, so you're going to 2 times that. Next, 3 tablespoons cocoa powder, doubled. Then 1 teaspoon of baking soda, doubled. So now you want to mix your dry ingredients. And now you're going to add your wet ingredients. 2/3 cup maple syrup times 2. And now you're adding 6 tablespoons of applesauce, and you're going to double that. Then you're going to add 1 tablespoon of white vinegar, doubled. 1 teaspoon of vanilla, doubled. So 2 teaspoons, and 3/4 cup cold water, doubled. So 1.5 cups of cold water. Now you're going to mix to combine. So our batter looks like this. So now we're going to pour our batter into our 2 cake pans. Half will go into one pan and half will go into the other pan. So now we're going to put our cake pan into the oven. And I'm going to put it on the top rack side by side. It needs to bake for 30 minutes. Next, we're going to make our frosting while the cake is baking. So if you doubled the cake recipe to make a layered cake, you're going to want to double the frosting recipe as well. So first, we're going to microwave our chocolate chips. And after about a minute of microwaving, you're going to want to stir it every little while just to make sure you don't overcook it. You can also melt your chocolate chips over the stovetop. Next, you're going to blend up all of your frosting ingredients in a food processor. I don't have a food processor, so I'm going to use a Vitamix. So you're going to take your silken tofu that's been wrapped in a towel, and you're going to put that in the blender. And I'm using 2 bricks of silken tofu because I'm doubling the recipe. Next, you're going to use 1 tablespoon of vanilla, doubled. Next, you're going to add 3/4 cup melted chocolate chips, and I've doubled mine. You're going to blend it all up and see how sweet it is. The recipe doesn't call for maple syrup unless you feel you want it a little sweeter, so we're going to try it, and if we need maple syrup, we're going to add some. So I tried the frosting and it's sweet enough. It doesn't need extra maple syrup, so I'm not adding extra maple syrup, but you can if you want it more sweet. Our frosting is ready. After 26 minutes of baking, I checked on the cakes and they were ready after putting a toothpick in them. So I definitely recommend checking your cake before your 30-minute timer goes off. Now we're going to let our cakes cool completely before we frost them. Now we're going to release the spring on the pan. And it came off very easily. You can see that I didn't need to use oil or pan spray for my cake pan. So now we're going to transfer 1 layer of the cake onto our cake stand. And I'm going to flip the cake over so it's top side down. Flip it over. So now we're going to frost our middle layer of our cake. Now we're going to put our top layer on our cake. So now we're going to frost the top of the cake. Your cake is frosted and it's complete, and now you can decorate it however you'd like. I'm going to decorate it with fresh raspberries. So here's my finished product. It looks delicious and we can't wait to dig into this. So I hope you enjoyed watching and thank you so much. Bye-bye.